Hello again. For those who came a bit later, my name is Karina. I also have some experience working in a DAO. I was previously a full-time contributor at MakerDAO in the growth team, and right now I'm an independent consultant helping startups with their growth strategies. And today I have a couple of my favorite people in the Web3 space, my friends from OneInch. I will actually let you all do your own introductions. Let's start with you, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm Jordan. I do community and governance work at OneInch. Been here since late 2021 and been following DeFi very closely since 2019. So.
As well, the same project. My name is Natalia Shore, and I also do communities or just start a DAO initiative. Yes. DAO initiative at OneInch, so pretty much supporting the one cats.
Hi, I'm Mona. I work for a venture capital fund as an investor. We invest pre-seed to Series A stages, German publicly listed VC actually, and I'm also part of Hydra Ventures, which is an investment fund. It's also a DAO, and we invest in other DAOs that also invest. So we're an investment DAO fund of funds, so to say.
Hi, I'm Anjali Young. I'm the co-founder and CCO for Abridged. We're the makers of Collabland. Let's see. I guess for those of you that don't know what Collabland is, it actually started off as a DAO tool, a token gating tool, and now we've expanded to all different types of communities. But the fun part is watching all these different types of communities take on DAO-like behavior because of the Collabland tool. So excited about talking about that more as we get going.
Thank you very much for your introductions. I would like to start with my very favorite question. And the context of this question is that when I just started at MakerDAO, also DAOs weren't even a very big thing as well. And I was trying to explain to my parents what I do and what does the DAO do. And it took me 4 tries and also an 8-hour drive where we were just alone in the car and they had nowhere else to run. But in the end, they got it. So my question for you guys, because most of you who are also contributing to DAOs, you also have to explain these things to people around you. So maybe let's make it easy for them. Does any of you have a short, clear explanation of what is a DAO and how it's supposed to look like?
All right, it's difficult, huh? I don't know what's happening. Let's go with me. Yeah, that's great. I mean, of course, if you go by the initials, I think the most important part is that it's autonomous and that it's based on a smart contract. So although it's a group of people that are working together, mission-driven, have one or a few different initiatives or work they're trying to accomplish, but it being autonomous, it being based on a smart contract, being publicly visible is the important part for me.
Maybe to add just the parents aspect, I would probably say it's a bottom-up type approach in terms of entity style. It has no central authority, and it's a collaborative approach in order to build an organization. That's what I would say, a very high level, my grandma should understand this hopefully way.
This is very good, thank you very much. My next question is, why would a business or protocol or DAO need a DAO? And also, when do we need to decentralize the power and when is it not needed? Who wants to take this one?
Jordan, that was very honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, really a lot of tokens, a lot of DAOs, and that's probably the first question that comes to mind. Like, yeah, what token is gonna do? Investors love this question, guys.
Yeah.
When token, and what is gonna do? Yeah, apparently it will govern the protocol. But yeah, when we decentralize decision-making process, maybe, yeah, like I really think that when you think of a DAO, to start it or not to start it, you just have to really define clearly what the purpose and objectives of the DAO.
Yeah.
And seriously, like a lot of, I just don't want to call names now, but like really a lot of projects, like DAO doesn't really so much needed there, maybe in a way. right? So they maybe still decision making is quite centralized, or there are like a bunch of people who are super active in the DAO, and pretty much everything what they change or what they decide on, it's in their hands. So sometimes it's just kind of shared.
Yeah.
I mean, I can quickly echo that, just saying from a VC perspective as well, that essentially most DAOs have a token because obviously it's a way to fundraise and it's a way to incentivize. Sometimes I do bring up the question, could it be a loyalty points? Could it be a different mechanism? NFTs or the likes to encourage certain behaviors within groups. But it is a very popular way of not giving away equity and fundraising through tokens, and just calling this construct a DAO, which is not necessarily always really a DAO in itself.
Yeah.
Well, just talking about that specifically, like selling tokens for your DAO, you're getting very murky into the securities law, so I would say that's definitely a bad idea. But your initial question was, does everyone need a DAO? And why would you need a DAO?
Yeah.
No, not every business needs a DAO. You're going to want a DAO if you want community input and if you want to govern through collaboration. Because you're asking for a lot of headache, a lot of stress, a lot of personalities. And if you're not prepared for that, then it's going to be miserable and you shouldn't do it. So it's not for everybody, but if you're looking for community and collaborative input and feel that multiple minds are better than one, or a small group, then yeah, DAO's the way to go.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really agree with all of you actually. And on the topic of tokens, what are your opinions? Does a DAO actually require a token, and do they need to have plans for a token in the future?
I mean, for a lot of DeFi protocols, they definitely want a token. I mean, it's not a coincidence that they launched the token and DAO at the same time. Like 1inch launched the token and DAO at the same time, Uniswap did at the same time. I wasn't involved in the discussions, but I think it's probably the co-founders talking to their legal team saying, hey, how can we launch a token? And the legal team says, well, you need a DAO. And then you have kind of the headache of what does the DAO actually control, because it's not everybody who's airdropped the token, Uniswap token, knows how to develop yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I can speak from our experience with Collabland. The token was necessary once we decided we needed a DAO, and we started from what do we need a DAO for? And for us, it was, we're going to have a marketplace. The marketplace serves the members of our communities, the admins of our communities. We need a DAO in order to curate the marketplace. And then how do you incentivize developers to build for the marketplace and also bring back value to the communities that are using the marketplace, and that's through a token. So, and also we did airdrop the token to every community member and every admin. So our situation was a little bit different, but I think starting with a need, why do you have a DAO and what is the purpose of the DAO, is the right place to start. But does everyone need a token? No, everyone doesn't need a token. I mean, Malik V1 had no token. So you do not need to start with a token, and a token doesn't even have to be a part of your plan. However, it does have to be an on-chain asset of some sort that can be trackable. Again, back to the autonomous part.
Yes, thank you very much. And Mona, you quickly touched upon investments and funding. You are from a VC, so I'm sure a lot of people here from the DAO world would be interested to know how does one get funding for the DAO?
So I think there's obviously a few avenues, right? There's so for example, the VC I work for, but I also am part of Hydra Ventures DAO. And if you are a investment DAO, come speak to me because we fund you. But that's there's more of these investment DAOs out there. There are also specific VCs or similar that focus on DAOs, right? So it's really a Google away. It's actually well written in online. Otherwise, a lot of protocols have grants specifically for DAOs, and they're actually very generous. So depending on what your project is, going back to what was mentioned here before, right? What is the purpose? What are you trying to achieve? What is your long-term goal, your roadmap? You might have perfect fit with some of the grants that are provided by protocols, and that might actually be a really good way to also be part of a bigger ecosystem, get the support, etc., right? So that's a really good one. Then, of course, I would say traditional VCs also do DAO funding. We do DAO funding. However, it has to be a registered entity somewhere, because if you usually do business, let's say, with a VC, there needs to be some sort of contract, and that has to have an address to be sent to. There has to be, you know, a little bit of that regulatory world. It still needs to be there, so that's an important aspect, right? There needs to be it needs to be regulated and registered somewhere. So again, normal VCs and syndicates, as well as angel investors, might be a really good place for you to look as well, because angel investors, so you know, people in this space that have a bit of money that they're investing in projects, they might be even more helpful than a VC sometimes, because they're really believing in the project. They come with a lot of contacts, and they might be a helping hand in a lot of ways. They might have done it before and can help you navigate through some pitfalls. So I think angels or syndicates with lots of really relevant or useful angels for the project, the mission that you're trying to achieve, might actually be a really good way going forward for funding, and then later on you can look for larger VC or whatever you want, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, and angel investors definitely contribute more to the project, and they get more involved in the development. And Johnny mentioned before, you know, you should go for a DAO if you focus a lot on building community and taking everybody's opinion in account. I have a question for Jordan, I guess, especially. What tips do you have on building and increasing community engagement, building your community? What tips do you have for the people here?
A lot of it, for one, comes down to incentives, you know, because you have a DAO and it's open, anyone can contribute to it, but just a normal user is just basically sees those types of DAOs asking them to build a bunch of shit for free, you know, and once we started awarding incentives to users, they got a lot more engaged in the DAO. Even things as simple as co-ops, to get engaged in the community call or give out co-ops to people who actually ask questions in the community call and didn't just have their phone on mute so they could collect the co-op. We've seen a lot more organic growth and stuff like that.
I would just continue.
I agree with what Jordan said, and that's what we experienced at a 1H incentive. So reputation systems maybe should be in place, like sort of page or something that stands for your level of contributions, something that you maybe kind of have it as a collective, maybe, or maybe showcase somewhere, and that kind of stands for my involvement with the certain community and what exactly I do for the community. I'm maybe content creator, so a specific page. Also, transparency, I think, and communication is very important. Like people just don't like to come to the board where nobody comments on any proposal, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
People do not discuss things. So, and also what we do at 1H, every 2 weeks we make sure that we update community on what's happening, just protocol level, product level, what we're working on, and what is in DAO space, proposals and ideas that we are kind of bouncing back and forth. Transparency and all questions and all sort of comments on what we are doing and feedback is super welcome. That's always have this loop with the community when you're here transparent and communicate very clear. Yeah, transparency is
I'll start with saying I think this could be its own 2-hour panel. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. But there are many different approaches to doing this, and I could list them all, but mainly it's relationships. Why do people stay in any organization, whether it be a DAO, whether it be any community, any sort of community? What causes the stickiness? It's relationships. So you have to build that within your community. There has to be some sort of consistency around events, and so people know, even they check out a little bit, they know when they can come back. That has to be publicly available. You have to have different types of activities that appeal to different types of members in different types of time zones. You know, we are a global industry. That's the whole idea of what we're doing here, which is incredibly beautiful and wonderful. But we cannot have a Western-centric or European-centric time zone because we want to welcome people from all over the world. And then another thing I'll quickly add on is you have to give people an opportunity to grow and have validation for their contributions. So they have to be seen, and they have to have ability to level up in their status within the group. So it's like being able to groom leadership from your community is extremely important. Of course, you have to have a solid core team, because none of this happens without a solid core team. It's just like any other relationship, through thick and thin, people have to show up, and so you have to have that core team. But allowing people within the community to see an opportunity to raise up the ladder and give them different places to contribute based on their skill set, I think is super important. So relationship, but all of those ways for people to be seen and heard, which is what we all want.
Thank you very much. Okay. I think we have time for a couple more questions only. And another question I have, perhaps for those who have just started figuring out this whole DAO thing and they don't exactly know where to start and how to do everything. Do you recommend any specific tools? Maybe you've seen any new products out there that are interesting, maybe for community management, maybe something else. I was actually on a panel with somebody else from 1inch like a year ago, and I remember saying publicly, I hate Discord. I'm really curious if anyone has discovered something else and if anything changed within a year.
The biggest community.
I can start. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I can start with saying CollabLand. I don't know if we're allowed to shell, but we started off as a DAO tool. We still support a number of DAOs. A good percentage of our total community usage are DAOs. So I'm going to start with CollabLand.
I'll continue. I mean, we're still on Discord, yeah. But when we start seeing this is, I think, it's sort of a trend, like all these Web2 applications, they kind of slowly get replaced by Web3 native applications. So, for instance, we migrated our forum from Discord to Commonwealth. Founders are somewhere around. Yeah, really, we like more like this tailored solution for DAO who really like to experiment. We like to give feedback because it's kind of happening live, the development and the whole thing. So to stay in touch with the builders who are doing this, also tools for DAOs. This is really exciting.
Probably like the most basic tool that we started using that like really kicked off people actually utilizing the DAO was just like a documentation site, something as simple as that. Instead of just users come in and they're just flooded with forum posts, and like hyperlinks to other forum posts, and they're like, what the hell is going on? It can, like, not just the forum though, it can kind of be tempting, especially in this space with like so many cool tools, to get like overwhelmed and just kind of do the Swiss Army knife, like, oh, we're going to do a tool for this, and there's no central place where the users can go to really understand what's going on. So, yeah, the documentation site helps with that. Yep.
And just very briefly, I know we had another comment here on the side as well, but what we're seeing from a VC perspective is there's a lot of DAO tooling out there, like a lot, and none of it's really being adopted. Here and there, a few tools here and there, but it's not. Discord is, it's like the go-to, it's like the fallback option, and people are creatures of habit, they don't like to change, they're doing Discord and Telegram anyways for their other activities, so they kind of got sucked into that, and they have Snapshot, and then that's their DAO, right? But I do think that we're seeing a lot of problems with that, and the more this industry grows, the more likely I think we're going to have better tooling. But really, from a VC perspective, we haven't seen a winner. We haven't been really able to identify one either yet. So I think it's still a pretty open playing field.
Well, this isn't necessarily a tool, or maybe it is a tool, but AI. Having the same question being asked over and over when people are onboarding is extremely fatiguing on a team. And so having an AI support, AI bot, where you can ask any question, again, I'm gonna go back to being global in any time zone, any time of the day, being able to upload all of your documentation and having it being asked. We actually have that tool in Cloudland, but anyway, the point is moving forward, AI being able to help us, AI being able to give us a snapshot of what the votes have been, understanding the history of a DAO the minute you enter one, rather than having to talk around and find out and who's the gatekeeper of all this information. Like, AI is going to superpower DAOs, and I'm just really excited about that.
Thank you very much. We are out of time. I know, let's sit for another 2 hours. Everyone else is away. But it was a great conversation. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please.